Hey there, Stampers. This is Sherry Roth. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Sherwood Park, Alberta, Canada. And welcome to day 8 of my 12 Days of Christmas video series. Today I'm going to share an idea with you where we design one item and I show you four different ways that you can use that one design. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm using the Wrapped in Plaid DSP. And I've cut a circle. Now you can use the layering circles. You can do this in a variety of sizes, but for this particular one, I wanted a circle slightly larger than the largest circle in the layering circles. So what I did was I just used a spool of ribbon and I put it on here and traced around it and then fussy cut it. Okay, so that's how I got a little bit of a larger circle. So that's done for us. And now we are going to bring in some coordinating cardstock. So I've got some shaded spruce and I'm going to use the largest, I think it was the largest star stitch from the Stitched Star dies, and then a skip a size and then the next smallest size. Okay, so I'm gonna bring in my die cutting machine. And we are going to cut this out. So I'm going to set this on here like this, and then I'm going to nest this inside so we get kind of a border, all right? And I'll feed that through. I want to make sure that I'm doing this right here. Okay, so feed that through, and then I get this beautiful star border and I end up with like a little window in it, and then there's this one as well. Okay, so now we can move this out of the way. I think I'm done cutting the stars because I pre-did some of them. So I'm going to use this, and the other thing that I pre-did was I cut out 2 of the largest stars. So I didn't need the window, so I just used the largest star die to cut these out, and you'll see what I use those for in a minute. Now I'm going to bring this over, and the first thing I want to do is I want to decide, okay, do I want the direction to matter? Most of this is going to be covered over. Most on both sides is going to be covered over. So I am going to go with, I want my plaid to be in the right direction. Okay, so I don't want it to go at an angle. I want it to go up and down like this. So I'm going to stick this star on first. If this was directional, which it kind of is, you could put it like this, but I don't think it matters as much. But there are some patterns in this paper pack that have like Christmas trees, like something that you would definitely want to be going in the right direction. Then I would stick this star on first on this side, okay? So I'm going to add adhesive, and you'll see that these stars stick off the ends a little bit. So I'm going to avoid putting adhesive on the tips of the stars and just kind of do it in the middle. And I'm gonna make sure that this is somewhat straight and position that on there. Okay, so now I know that that's going to be my top, and then I'm going to flip it around and I'm going to put this one on the back, lining it up where it's intended to be. Okay, so right with the one from the front. And then I'm going to take this one. Oh, a little misaligned here. Okay, and I'm going to add adhesive and put this over top. And I can put adhesive all the way around on this one. And that's going to layer on top of this. Just like that. There we go. Okay, and what I've done is I've taken one size smaller than this in, like I skipped a size and went a size smaller and cut it out of gold foil, and that's going to get popped up on there because I want it to have a bit of dimension. Peel off the backing on my dimensionals. And then add that to the center so you see a little bit of that cherry cobbler border. And then I've got a scrap piece of Whisper White cardstock, and I'm going to use the Season's Greetings and Night of Navy ink. And this Season's Greetings is from the So Many Stars stamp set. And I'm just gonna stamp this in Night of Navy. There is just a touch of Night of Navy in the plaid. You could do it in Cherry Cobbler or Shaded Spruce as well, or even emboss it in gold and it would look pretty. Okay, so got that stamped. And then I've gone ahead and stamped one and then fussy cut it. Now, I know fussy cutting isn't necessarily for everyone, so if you don't want to fussy cut around that, you could just do a thinner border. So you could just trim this down just a little bit so it's a little bit narrower, and then flag the ends, and you could do it that way as well, okay? So then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a dimensional and just cut it in half. Scissors, here we go. I'm just gonna cut that in half just because it's still a little bit wide. Put a dimensional on either end and then just some regular adhesive in the middle, because this part is going to stick to where the star is popped up, so it doesn't need another layer of dimensionals on top of that. Whoops. Let's try that again. The backing on these dimensionals just doesn't want to come off. There we go. And then we'll do this one. And then this is going to go across like this. Just like that. Isn't that pretty? And then I'm going to use my 1/16 of an inch punch and punch a hole right in the top. Just like that. And cut a piece of linen thread, and I've got some of the jingle bells that coordinate with this suite, and I'm going to use a red and a green and feed those through, and then feed one end of my linen thread through that hole. Make sure that my bells are in the front. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to add a knot here so they don't fall off. You could tie a bow around it if you want, but what I like to do when I'm making tags is I like to knot it here, and then and still leave the ends nice and long so that I can attach it, whether it's to a ribbon wrapped around a gift or to the handles of a gift bag. So there's our project. Now, we can use this, you could use this as a tag, so we could turn it over. The reason why I added the star to the back was so that you could stamp to and from, and you can write a little message on there. You could even stamp a greeting on there if you wanted. If you were going to attach this to, let's say, a pizza box, which would be really cute, what I would do is I would skip this step and just adhere my circle to it. And then I would probably tie a bow, add my bells and tie a bow rather than having it like a tag. So we've got a tag, we've got the top of a pizza box with the same design. Here is the same design added to the front of a gift bag. And then here is the same design, except I went one size smaller. So this is the largest circle in the Layering Circles dies. And so then I just shrunk all my stars down one size as well. So here it is added to the front of a card. So this is a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 square card, okay? And then I avoided putting the bells on this one just because if you're making a card, the bells add quite a bit of dimension. So you definitely have to pay for extra postage. And then I thought I would share another idea. So this is some of the leftover pieces that I had after playing with this idea. So I used the star that was punched from actually this circle, and then I added a green star to the back just because there's a pattern on patterned paper, it's patterned on both sides so that you could easily write a greeting. And then if you've been following me on my 12 Days of Christmas series, one of the first videos, it was either the first or the second, I believe, I was using up bits and pieces from the countdown calendar. And I had some stickers left over. So this little gold bit here is from that leftover sticker pack. So I'm still putting those to use. Stamped the No Peeking Till Christmas, which is from the Itty Bitty Christmas stamp set. And then punched it out with a 1-inch circle punch, popped it up with dimensionals, and then added some linen thread. And I've got a quick and easy tag just using bits and pieces that were left over from this project. All right, so you could easily repeat this design. Here's a star that you could add to the back, or you can even, you don't even have to cut patterned paper. You could just do this No Peeking Till Christmas and another flag here, add that there, stamp to and from on the back, and you've got another quick tag. Okay, so I encourage you to use the scraps that you have left over right when you've got everything pulled out that coordinates. All right, so I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up, and if you are not already a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you don't miss the last few days of these videos and any future videos that I do. And if you are in Canada and don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love for you to choose me as your demonstrator. I will have a full supply list of everything that I've used in the description of this video below. All right, thanks so much for watching.